I've lived in pretty much any area you can name. I pretty much lived there. I lived up there for 4 years. Prior to living here, I lived in what was that, Cheltenham for around 3 years. Before that, it was Philadelphia, I believe, and then before that, it was Germantown. So it's been like, I've always lived out around 2 years. It's enough to get as soon as I get activated, it's like I begin a new life, almost in like a new area. And area-wise, when I came up here, I entered actually in Beverly Hills Middle School in 8th grade. Now, when I came in, it was more of a how you say? Well, I came in as I skateboarded, so that was my hobby. I'm not sure if you guys were ready for that. I skateboarded as a hobby in 8th grade. Coming in 9th grade, I broke my leg, so I kind of like dropped that whole, it was like, not post-traumatic stress or anything, but that was enough stress. 9th grade year, that wasn't like my best start, especially seeing as I was a new student. As a new student, new school district, and the whole year I'm spending it with a broken leg. So I was like, it's a bad way to start this. Going into 10th grade, I picked up basketball. I played basketball a little while. I initially started as soon as I stopped playing. As soon as I came out of my cast in 8th grade, I put the skateboard down and started playing a little basketball. But I wasn't serious. 10th grade came around and basketball tryouts were coming out. And I never thought about playing basketball for school because my school originally, I went to in Germantown, was a smaller schoolhouse school. So it wasn't really too many basketball teams. It was like stuff like extracurriculars weren't really like available. So yeah, so I actually tried out for the basketball team. I didn't make it. I still hold the hobby, but I don't really take it as serious now as I used to. But for the most part, it's still there. Other activities I might say I enjoy. Not too many. I'm more of a working person, to be honest. Since 10th grade, late 10th grade, early junior year, that's where I got my first job. I actually work with the same guy to this day. First job I was given was at Roxborough. I used to live out in Roxborough as well. I forgot about that. I lived there as well. So I lived in all walks, like not too far from Main Street. I worked in Roxborough as a wing stop. And I started off like most kids, just coming there trying to get a paycheck, keeping it simple, come in, get your hours, and go home. And I really I'm starting to understand, like after getting paid, it's like, it turned me into a workaholic personally, because obviously I like money, who doesn't? But it was the drive it gave me, nothing gives me a drive like seeing your work actually reciprocate, through a paycheck. So, started off well. I worked there for around a year. I was the store closed down, so as we were working up to like the final stages of the store, where I was actually working on my management skills, the store closed down. So that was unfortunate, and I actually had to relocate. Now the guy that I work for now, he actually works with the what is that? I want to say a branch or a LCC. They actually own like a lot of the Little Caesars, a lot of the Subways, and a couple Wingstops. Not too many in Pennsylvania, but I actually worked in Sharon Hill. I worked at Little Caesars in Sharon Hill for around 2, 3 shy months. I say shy because I wasn't really working there that much, and it wasn't really a job I really liked. Character-wise, like I always tell people that, like I'm not really a big guy on like working somewhere I don't like. But if you have to be there, just get the most out of it. By that meaning, like for instance, I had to go up there and one of the beginning tasks I had to do was, there's the cars come down the road and basically I had to take the sign and flip the sign to try to attract the customers. Now, upon doing that, it was like, that was like exiting my comfort zone. I'm not used to like, trying to coax people in through, like I have the charisma, but it's like, half the time people aren't even paying attention. So from that to across the street was a parking lot. You got to go chase people down, just basically using your greeting skills. How you doing, sir? Would you like to take a flyer? We just opened up not too long ago. And, just try to grasp their attention. I was there for 2 months. That ended on, was a SAT day. I actually had SATs that day. Misunderstand with the schedule, and basically it got cut short. It wasn't really nothing I could do because, like I said, it wasn't actually the best day I could have. They were they make you work for that money. So, I wouldn't exactly say I was hyped to be there. I worked in King of Prussia, American Eagle. Worked there for around, I want to say, 2 or 3 days. Most of them was training, so I won't say worked all those 3 days, but around 2 or 3 of them I worked there. And for the most part, it was just basically me, Okay, cool. Yeah, for the most part, it was just me basically. I'm still on the first time, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm finish that. I'm gonna wrap this up real quick, I'm sorry. It was just basically me just trying to like, use my customer skills and just, try to get the customers to buy whatever they could buy or, work that out. Sorry. School-wise. There's a school, the smallest school I attended in Germantown. It's Fuller Academics Plus. School about 300 kids, maybe 400 at the max. So it's like 2 kids a grade. It's like 70 kids at the max. So I attended there till 8th grade. Till 7th grade. I came to Beverly Hills Middle School in 8th grade. And here we had like simple activities like fun run, which is basically like, a day where everybody has a day off and you just participate in like, recess activities, just basically, day after school while you're in school. Middle school, I did it at Beverly Hills Middle School. Now, Beverly Hills was actually a pretty nice stay. I didn't stay there too long, because I was only did 1 year, but it was actually all right. 8th grade, I came in, and gym was all right. Gym was my school, but gym was basically just basketball, like a smaller room, like a little bit bigger than this one. So I came there, actually had rock climbing, which I thought was really interesting. They had basketball, the turkey trot. I didn't participate, but I thought that was so neat that they actually took something like that, because my school didn't have that. So up here, it was like, I thought that was pretty neat. They actually included that in the curriculum, putting students in mind. Activities-wise, 9th through 11th grade, you can see I'm an art major student. I didn't finish it this year, only because last year I had a teacher who I really didn't. She didn't give me the right touch on it, but I still had that same fire for the art, I guess. Okay. Grad project. Grad project was basically about Kurt Vonnegut, and the reason I picked Kurt Vonnegut was basically because me and Kurt actually have a similar tie. By that meaning, like, we both have a very expanded imagination, if you will. Anybody that knows me knows I'm very imaginative. I often do like a lot of mimicking, like when nothing's there, And the way he presents his stories and like he basically breaks it down to me was almost like, it's pretty impressive to me, because it's like, no one in his time was like really using it. That's why a lot of criticism he received in that time wasn't really, appreciative. 8 facts. 8 facts about, the project in general, starting myself. I learned, which was a big one for me, because senior year really opened this one up for me. Procrastination is what I feel like really comes out during this project, because simply my biggest problem was always thinking I have more time than it really takes to do the task at hand, whether it be getting dressed or coming here, or even the project. Right now, I have no clue what the time is, but hoping I don't go over the limit, I try to work around whatever I can. And I feel like that's where the term senioritis kind of gets coined in, because it's like, you develop it as you start to get more tasks during senior year, because you're getting ready to graduate and you're ready to leave and go into your regular life, and that's when it really starts to coat your character, I feel like. Slows you down, but, it's hard to break, but, some do, some don't. Kurt Vonnegut, as far as the project-wise, I learned that Kurt Vonnegut is a pretty simple dude like myself. He's pretty classy. He was a prisoner of war in Dresden. I meant to say that in the last slide, I'm sorry. Prisoner of war in Dresden, and basically his job was to collect the bodies that during the war that were burned, or because they actually got Allied bombing. His side he was fighting for actually bombed it, and he worked in a meat locker, so he managed to escape that. But back to the topic, his job was to actually take the burned bodies, or the destroyed bodies, and bring them to the meat cellar and burn them. So he managed to survive, basically him and a few of his companions, through living in the meat cellar. Okay, and he did one. That messed me up. Upon the oh man, stumbled me. It's fine. Kurt Vonnegut. Oh yeah, so he survived the old meat locker episode through the Allied bombing. That pushed him into doing his writing. He's taking up his writing stance. He started off with short stories. Like I said, it wasn't really a popular thing at times. It was postmodernism, more of a science fiction twist, and back then that was more of a civil rights thing. So it didn't really fit then. He managed to start off with short stories in the paper. Then as he started to develop like a little bit of a reputation, a little bit of a crowd, and once he approached that crowd, they started to be like, like we're used to these short stories now. We want, real Kurt Vonnegut. So that's when he started to develop Slaughterhouse-Five, Breakfast of Champions, and a lot of his stories actually share characters, which I think is pretty decent. It's almost like a series within a series. They're not all the same line of books, but they all share the same characters. And my portfolio. As you can see, I actually don't have it. The only thing I can have with me right now is my senior project. Every year I've had my portfolio, I've managed to lose it, which is a problem I've been trying to maintain, but I actually couldn't have it. If I were to have it with me right now, things I would show you was one, in grade I had actually not very good writing scores. I was not really good with penmanship. Going into 10th grade, I had an art major, so I had a lot of art portfolio. I learned more of like surrealism and learned value, so like charcoal and like pencil touch-ups and whatnot. And senior project is definitely, if I can show you that, if you guys have time. Senior project is I'm sure you guys are gonna read the whole thing. Just get a grasp on like the growth, because like I said, in 9th grade I didn't have a good penmanship, so like since then I've definitely understood more of like some of the formats we were presented with MLA, you know, citation stuff I was not used to, but I learned this year, and yeah, it really brought out the, you know, the me that I felt like I could wait for so long. This one, I had edited one. Well, any questions?
How did you come across picking Kurt Vonnegut? Was it part of your curriculum?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for asking that, because I was actually waiting for that one. I picked Kurt Vonnegut because basically we had teacher Mr. Stelmack. I'm not sure if you know about him. He was here for around 3-4 months. He actually left. I'm not sure why, but he left. And he was one who actually convinced me, because he said like my writing skills are actually increased. And he was basically trying to tell me like, you know, you're actually, you know, you're an art writer. And with that being said, along with me for wanting to be so similar, it was like, you know, this is going to be easy for me anyway. Because at first it was like, well, why did I pick this? Then I started to understand, like, I see, it's almost like it was placed on me versus me picking it. It ties into the curriculum basically because we learned about him at Slaughterhouse 5. We read about him for a little while. We learned about him in, yeah, like I said, he's a postmodern writer, science fiction, you know. So, I mean, I guess that answers your question now. Any other questions?
Yeah. Are you going to write?
Hmm?
Not right now, but I mean.
Oh, actually, that's actually a good question. I actually do, I won't say rap, but I do like a little bit of poetry. So I kind of include it in there. I do write, but I don't write like, you know, I can see it personally, because like I said, I have a lot of traits and stuff like that I picked up, so like, you know, the opportunity's endless. But writing, I can definitely see it being in there. Book-wise, I don't know, maybe like every short stories every now and then, I might try to get a short story published, but that's pretty much it. So,
Good, that's the right answer, yeah.
thank you.